Hey, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl Tamara, and I have a get ready with me video for you today. If you want to see how I created this look, just continue to watch. All right, so let's get this get ready with me video going. This is not a tutorial. I just felt like getting ready in front of the camera this morning. I'm going to church in a little bit. And yeah, I figured, you know what? I'm up early. I got time. So why not? So I'm just going to do my makeup. If you want to know in depth what I'm using on my face, you can watch my previous video. And if I'm not looking at you, my mirror is off to the side here. I'm looking in there because we need to see. And yes, I could look in the phone, but I still wouldn't be looking at you because I'm using my phone to record. And so my setup is a little bit wonky, but I do have you guys on my ring light, and hopefully the lighting in this video is better than the last one. The last video, I watched that back, you guys, and I was like, oh, yuck for the lighting. But I was trying to use a combination of natural light, and I had like the overhead lights on, and it didn't look right. So I came downstairs here in my office because I get the best of both worlds. I have the natural light here, I have my ring light on, and hopefully you guys can see a little bit better what I'm doing. And yeah. So I know that some of you, did y'all watch the Super Bowl? Did you like the Super Bowl? What did y'all think of the halftime show? I have my thoughts on it, which I will keep to a minimum. I loved it. I thought it was great. That's all I'm going to say about that. I thought it was a great show. Great game too. Eagles won. I'm not really a football fan like that. I watch it for social reasons. And when I say I watch football, I mean I watch the Super Bowl just so that I don't have FOMO, right? Because everybody's watching it and everybody's going to be talking about, did you watch the game? Did you watch the game? I am not really, I don't mind football, but I really don't understand it. And I really don't feel like taking the time to truly learn what it's all about. I get the gist of it, but I'm not one of those like type of people where I am going to be so hardcore into football that, you know, it's just not ever been my thing. But if there's a good game on or it's the Super Bowl, I will be inclined to watch, and I'm going to be yelling and hooping and yelling at the screen just like all the football enthusiasts do. Because I do get excited when the team that I'm rooting for scores a touchdown. I don't know why I feel like I have to rush it, and I don't, because I got up early so that I could do this on camera. And why is it when you do your makeup on camera, nothing goes the way that you normally do it? Like, it's almost like you discombobulate a little bit and you have to catch your bearings of what the heck am I doing? And I told you guys, I've been out of practice. So it's been a minute since I have been in front of the camera, putting on makeup, talking to you guys. Yeah, so I'm very much out of practice. I know you guys, to you, it looks like I'm putting on war paint. I promise you, I'm not. When I blend this all out, it's gonna look amazing. And if you watched my other video where I explained what I was doing and this cream makeup that I've been using, you'll get a better understanding. You'll understand why I'm putting all of these different colors on my face at once. All right, so I think that's good enough. If I need more, I'll go back and add. I'll go back and add it. But for right now, I'm gonna blend for my life. All right, so what's going on in my world? I guess I could give you guys a little bit of an update of what I've been up to here recently. So last year, November of 2024, I released my second book on Amazon. I have 2 books on Amazon now that I have written, and I can officially say that I am an author. I could have said that. I mean, I could say that from the first book. The first book that I wrote was my life's story. And really, it's just a book on my testimony of living through trauma, loss, and grief. And it's called Stronger Than I Knew. And in that book, I talk about some of the things that I experienced growing up and throughout my life that were traumatic, and the losses that I experienced in life. And then my second book is called Hello Grief. And that book, I am talking about the journey through grief. And I'm literally taking my readers through a journey of grief. And I'm using my personal experience with grief to kind of be a friend in grief management to those people who have either just recently lost someone, or they too are on a grief journey. And, you know, grief is a very peculiar, personal, and unique thing to experience. And we all experience grief, but we all experience grief differently. And so I wanted to write a book that would kind of speak to grief in a way that's not normally talked about. So I'm addressing things like your anger, the anger that you might go through on a grief journey, being angry at God, and how do you navigate those hard places that grief can sometimes, you know, cause you to be in. What do you do with that? And so it's like a friendly user's guide to grieving. And the reason why that I wrote that, what is that? The reason why I wrote that and wrote it in that way is that I wanted my readers to feel like I was right there with them. So like, let's say you were experiencing a loss, or you have just experienced a loss, and you come over to my house, or we go out for coffee or lunch or something, and we're having a conversation. And so that's really the approach that I took in this book. Is I wanted it to feel like I am right there with you. I am sitting down with you, and we're having this conversation about grief and how it's impacting your life, and giving you some practical tips that you can apply on a daily basis to just help you with the day-to-day ups and downs, peaks and valleys that grief brings. Because let me tell you, it's never ending. And for those of you who have experienced loss and significant loss, you understand that the grief, it never goes away. Like, you have to learn to live with it. It's definitely something that you live with, you learn to live with. Um, and it is possible. And your grief is going to change and evolve over time. It's not going to be what it was on day one versus day 101. It's going to look differently. You're going to respond differently to it. And so, I kind of touch on that in the book as well. And yeah, I'm very excited about it. And I'm blessed to be able to take my experience with grief and turn it into something that is useful and helpful to other people. Because the other reason why I wrote my book is because grief is lonely. It's a very lonely place to be, especially after everything dies down. And what do I mean by after? I mean, when everyone has gone home from the funeral, months have gone by, a year has gone by, and you find yourself still grieving the loss of your loved one, but it feels like the rest of the world has gone and moved on with their life, but you're still feeling the feels. You're still missing your loved one. You're still having triggers throughout your day, throughout your week, throughout your month, and memories coming back to you of your loved one that's no longer with you. What do you do with that? How do you deal with that? Where do you put all of those emotions? All right. So I'm pretty much blended out. So yeah, I talk about those types of things. And your grief does evolve over time. It does get better. It gets better. But it's a day by day, sometimes moment by moment process. And there's no time limit to grieving. It takes however long it takes. I'm just going to come in here and kind of do a little contouring on the nose situation here. Don't worry, I'm going to blend it out. And no two grief journeys look the same. Just like no two pregnancies look the same. Everybody grieves differently and in their own way, but the tips that I give in my book can be applied to anyone. I wrote it in a very general sense so that wherever you are on your grief journey, whether you're at the beginning, in the middle, and let's just say you stay in the middle, because like I said, you're gonna always be grieving in one form or fashion of another. You're gonna always be missing your loved one. There will always be reminders. There will always be anniversaries, birthdays of your loved one. That doesn't go away. And let's just be honest, you don't stop loving people because they have crossed over and transitioned. That doesn't ever go away. You still love them. You still love them as if they were here, because that's what love is. And so that's never going away. Just because they're not here physically, it doesn't mean that your love dies with them. So let's see, what color? I'm looking at my lip and cheeks, and I don't know what colors to use today. Did you all have a great Valentine's Day? I had a very quiet Valentine's Day, which I was totally okay with, because I really, over the years, I have just kind of, less is more for me. I don't require the same things that I did earlier in my marriage anymore. That changes too. The older you get, it's like, don't get me wrong, I still love having flowers and chocolates and things like that. But when I was a newlywed, I had so many expectations of what I thought Valentine's Day should look like. And I'm just going to use whatever's left and put it on the lips because that's why it's a lip and cheek. And my expectations were lofty, you guys. And here's the kicker. I had these lofty expectations, but I was expecting the husband to read my mind, like he should know. Oh my gosh. No. He doesn't live in my head. And so I would sit at home literally. I was young, y'all. Let me preface this, okay? And every young bride has had this moment. I was really young. I was only 20 when I got married. I know it looks scary right now, but don't worry. I'm going to blend this out. And as you can see, it's being blended out and it's going to look lovely. But, so, you know, when you're 20 and you've watched and grown up with soap operas your whole life and you've never been in love before, you don't really have a point of reference on what love is, what romance is. ABC, CBS, soap operas taught you that. And so you build these ideas around what you think love is, what you think romance is. And you have this script running in your mind of how things should be. The only problem is that the person that you married, the love of your life, does not have the same script. And so Valentine's Day comes and you're at the house all cute and expecting that, you know, he should know to come into the house with an armful of flowers and candy and I love yous and cards and, you know, plan a romantic dinner and all of the things that you see in the movies, except for there's one problem with that. And it's not wrong to want those things. However, the issue with that is that you also have to consider who you married. And are they the romantic type? Do they take initiative? Or are you the romantic one in the relationship? Because what life has taught me and the observations that I have made in marriage and couples, very rarely do you find couples that are the same. What do I mean by that? Usually you have one that is the romantic one, and you have one that is the less romantic one. It's not that they don't like romance, but it's just not, it's not in their, it's not in their grab bag. Like that's not the first thing that they're reaching for, okay? And so it doesn't occur to them that, oh, today is Valentine's Day. I should show up with chocolates and flowers. Does that make sense? And so somebody's going to be disappointed. So, you know, I circled it on the calendar. I guess he didn't see it. And this is like I said, I was newlywed. So he has grown since then. I always just get tickled because I really was expecting the most. I was doing the most. Anyway, he comes home from work late and I'm sitting at the table all cute and everything. And I'm just waiting for him to like, ta-da! Homeboy walks through the door and I'm like, where's the flowers? where's the chocolates? It's Valentine's Day. And he's like, oh, I didn't notice. What you mean you didn't notice it's Valentine's Day, sir? What do you mean? And he's like, well, I just thought you would plan something. Me? Yeah, I thought you was going to plan something. Not one of our best Valentine's Day, to say the least. But, and then now we have to scramble to see where we could go, where we could get in, because everybody else pre-planned their Valentine's Day and made their reservations. And, you know, I really took for granted that my beautiful caramel drop husband was going to do the same, and that he knew to do the same, but he didn't. And so there we are on our very first Valentine's Day as a married couple, and I'm sitting cute and dressed in the house and nowhere to go and mad as hell, because I'm like, how in the world could you not plan something? And he's like, why didn't you say something to me? Why didn't you, excuse me, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you? And I'm like, I shouldn't have to remind you that it's Valentine's Day. You know, oh my gosh, it was not. I really had to, it was my fault. Let me just say that. And here's why I will tell you it's my fault, because I could have said something to him. Yes. I could have said, hey, babe, it's Valentine's Day. What are we going to do? You know, I could have said that. And yes, he could have paid more closer attention to the fact that it's Valentine's Day. But remember I said in the beginning of this portion of our conversation, you have to know who you married. My husband is not big on the romance department. Like, he's not a romantic person, okay? He is sentimental at times, but he's not the husband that's going to have the foresight to say, let me get the flowers the day before. Let me figure out what her favorite chocolate is and make sure I show up. He doesn't show up like that. And I'm okay with that, because let me tell you where he does show up. And I promise you, this whole thing has a point. I'm going to put the period on the end of it in a second. So cool your jets, okay? And don't be coming for my man in the comments, because he's a good man. He's a good man, Savannah. He's just not, he's never been that type of a guy, right? So I am the romantic one in the relationship. And it took me many years of being frustrated of, why will he not do these things for me? It's because I gotta know who I married. He ain't never been like that. So for me to suddenly expect him to be something that he's never been, he did not show up to me that way at all. He showed up to me in other ways, but the romantic, I'm gonna, you know, put on your red dress. No, he's not Johnny Gill. He don't got the Johnny Gill with it, okay? I am all of that. He is not. And so while he would do sweet, sentimental things, I had to really learn my husband's love language and how he was communicating love to me, and stop trying to fit him into a mold that he just didn't fit in. And I was frustrating the poor guy, you know, because I kept expecting him to show up in a very specific way that was specific to me, but not really considering how he shows up and how he expresses love. And so whenever he would express his love, because it didn't come in the packaging that I thought it should come in, I kind of poo-pooed on it, which hurt his feelings. And so that gave way to a lot of, you know, misunderstandings, a lot of hurt feelings, a lot of, I feel like you take me for granted. You don't appreciate the things that I do for you. And it was just really us not knowing how to communicate our needs and understanding each other's love language. And so he tried, though. So once he realized that, hey, she's expecting me to show up with something, he tried. And once again, it's a learning process. For the first 5 years of our marriage, my dude showed up with the red heart box chocolate. Y'all know the ones that I'm talking about, the one at the grocery store. The one that's usually on an end cap. As soon as you walk, you know, everybody's over there. They're set up by the flowers, or some portion of the grocery store has these red heart boxes full of assorted chocolates. And I personally think they are nasty. They're not the kind of chocolate that you're like, ooh, you know, it's not Godiva. It's usually Russell Stover or, you know, some type of other brand. And back in the day, because I got married in 1995, so they might have changed in today's time. They might have redone the assortment, but back then, those boxes were always filled with cream chocolate. So it would be flavors like orange creamsicle, cherries jubilee, those kind of nasty flavors that, yeah, nobody wants to eat, and neither did I. And so I give him an A for effort because, you know, he learned from the first one. Okay, I got to show up with chocolate. Once again, I can laugh about it now. I wasn't laughing then, okay? I was very serious and I was very frustrated, but it's hilarious to me now. I'm like, dude, where's the chocolate with the nuts? And then he was like, oh, there's some nuts in there. So I would eat out the 1 or 2 chocolates that had the nuts in it. And I might mess around with the chocolate that had the caramel in it. But everything else stayed in the box. But I didn't want to seem ungrateful. So y'all, I would take the box and put it in the freezer for safekeeping. And there it lived until it died of frostbite. And then I would just throw it away. And then I would expectantly wait for the next Valentine's of maybe he'll get something different the next year. No, he did not. One thing about my husband is he's going to be consistent. Yes, he's going to be consistent in everything that he does. He has always been that way. He does not deviate from his consistency. And so for the first 5 years of my marriage, I got the dreaded heart box of chocolates on Valentine's Day. And on about the 5th year, finally, he came through the door. He was so proud of himself, and he brought flowers. And I mean, like, he really did get the message. Like, and he's giving me what I asked for because I said. And my husband is literal. He's very analytical. So if I tell him, honey, on Valentine's Day, you know, I want you to show up with a box of chocolates and flowers, that is exactly what I'm going to get. And he's going to go into the store. He's going to ask the store clerks, where's y'all's box of chocolates? My wife said she wants a box of chocolates and some flowers. And of course, the store doesn't know that I don't like the red heart box. No, they don't. So what are they going to do? They're going to walk him right over to that dreaded red heart box of chocolates, and they're going to slap the chocolates in his hand. As far as he's concerned, she said chocolates, these are chocolates. She said flowers, these are flowers. I gave her what she asked for. That's who I married. Okay. 5th year, he walks through the door, and it's that damn red heart box again. And I'm like, okay, look, this has to stop. We can't keep going on like this. And he's like, what's the problem? I'm like, why do you keep bringing me this awful box of chocolates? He's like, you don't like them? I'm like, I hate these chocolates. He's like, why didn't you say something? Communication 101. I said, I didn't want to hurt your feelings because, the first one, we argued that day. We ended up eating Chinese food that day. The first one, the one where he didn't make any plans at all. We ended up going to the local mom and pop Chinese restaurant, and child, we couldn't even find a booth to sit in. So we ordered our food and brought it home to eat. And I was so upset because I wanted to be wined and dined. I wanted to, I wanted us to be sitting in a nice little cozy booth somewhere and cuddled up and booed up and like all the other romantic couples who were on time. I mean, I even believe that we drove around trying to find a restaurant to get into, but everywhere was booked solid. And so they were like, sorry, everybody else made their reservations the day before or a few days before. You got to be quicker with it next time. Lesson learned. And so we were very sour with one another that first Valentine's Day. And then it took me a minute to realize that I thought that I was communicating what I wanted, but I was not communicating effectively. Fast forward, and we'll be married 30 years this coming December. And let me tell you something. Valentine's Day rolled around, and he said, babe, what you want? I looked at my husband and I said, I don't want anything. I just want to eat a nice meal at home. I don't want to be in anybody's restaurant. I don't want to go out and spend money on expensive restaurant food that I can cook better at home. I don't want, I don't need the flowers. I don't need the chocolate, because the reality is that now, after 30 years, my husband fully knows that I like Lindt chocolate. It's the only chocolate that I like. I don't even mess around with Hershey's anymore. I like Lindt chocolate. And if I tell him I'm in the mood for chocolate, he knows exactly which one to go get. He doesn't have to ask the store clerk, where's your chocolate? He knows. She wants the Lindt chocolate. She wants the orange or the spicy cayenne pepper chocolate, which is delicious, by the way, or something with raspberries in it. He knows that. He knows it now. He knows it so well that even if he's out with my daughters and they want to get me something, he's like, nope, your mama don't like that. She not gonna like that. Put that back. Your mama, your mom don't like that. He knows me very well now. And I'm so grateful for that he knows me that well. And yes, it came in a hard kind of way at first, but we were newlyweds. We were still getting to know each other. We were still figuring each other out and learning each other. And that never stops in marriage. And if it does, then I'm sorry to tell you, something ain't right. You need to be concerned. You should always be learning still, even after 30 years. There's always something new to learn about one another. And if you're at a place in marriage where you stop learning new things about each other, to me, in my opinion, that says that you all have gotten too comfortable with one another. And that's not cool. There's always, because here's the thing, I've been married for 30 years, right? But I'm not the same Tamara that I was when I said I do 30 years ago. I've changed. He's not the same hubby that he was when he said I do 30 years ago. He's changed. I've changed. He's changed. We both have evolved. We've experienced things individually. We've experienced things as a couple. We've come through some hardships together. Hold on. I can't talk and do this part at the same time. I don't know why, but I can't. And so, yeah, we're just not the same. I'm just going to clean up the edge right there. You see that? Because like I said in the previous video, we're not trying to have all the things out here anymore because we already talked about this. We're going to turn 50 this year. And them little baby crow's feet are very disrespectful. So I try to keep my shadow in boundaries that I set for it. But yeah, so now I don't have any problems. We don't have those kinds of issues anymore because I've learned how to communicate. I've learned how he hears my communication. And so even like something as simple as grocery shopping. And I think all of you who are married can relate to this, right? You send your husband to the grocery store and you're trying to tell him what you need. And I will ask for a specific item, but he has manseitis. And you might say, Tamara, what is that? It sounds serious. It is. Manseitis is men's inability to find something or look for something and come back and tell you they don't see it, but it's right in their face. It's literally like I could be saying to him, can you please get the Milani, what is this? Make It Last Original Makeup Setting Spray. And it will literally be right in his face. And he'll go like this. I don't see it. Manseitis. Because you ain't looking for it. It's right in your face. But you don't see it. So I'm gonna let that dry. I should have brought my fan down here. So when I send him to the grocery store and I'll be like, oh, I need salsa verde, green salsa. And again, I know that there's certain brands that I like and certain brands that I don't like. And I will have to literally on the list put in parentheses, it's in aisle so-and-so. It's beside the so-and-so. Don't get this brand, get this specific brand. Because if I know my husband, he's going to go into that grocery store and he's going to have in his mind green salsa. And that's all that he has in his mind. So guess who's coming home with the first green salsa that he can put his hands on? My husband. So in order to save our marriage and my sanity, I have learned over the years that when I send my beautiful caramel drop of a husband to the store for anything, I literally have to tell him the brand name. Sometimes I have to tell him what aisle it's in, what it might be sitting next to. And if he still can't find it, because I've trained him so well, he now will know to call me, because we have these wonderful things called iPhones where you can do this amazing thing called FaceTime. And I will have him FaceTime me and turn the camera around so I can see the grocery shelf. And I will tell him exactly where the item is that was in front of his face that he did not see. Yeah. This is what you get after 30 years of hard marriage time, okay? And it's a beautiful thing. I'm not knocking it. I'm telling you right now, it's a beautiful, if you can get to this stage where your husband knows, you know what, I'm looking at this list and she said this, but I don't see, let me call her. Instead of picking up what he thinks is the right answer. Because he's learned over the years, don't do that. So if you happen to be a husband, I don't know why you would be watching Get Ready With Me. But if you are a husband and you're trying to figure out and understand your wife, let me help you. When she sends you to the store for things and you don't see it, don't ask the store clerk, okay? Because 9 times out of 10, they're not going to know. They're not going to know because she sent you to the store. She put her faith and confidence in you, not the store clerk. So what you should do is you should call your beautiful wife or your girlfriend and say, hey, babe, I don't see what you're talking about. Could you tell me what aisle it's in? Could you help me find it? She will be more than happy to let you know. Oh, babe, it's over here. Okay, thanks for calling. Thanks for letting me know that you couldn't find the thing that was literally right in front of your face that you couldn't see. And he does it at home too. I will ask him to retrieve something from the pantry and he's in there, or I'll ask him to bring something from downstairs and bring it upstairs. And I know if he's not coming back up the stairs within about a minute or so, I know my husband is standing at the pantry door, staring at it going, what is she talking about? I don't know where she's with what. And I could literally walk downstairs blindfolded to the kitchen, walk into the pantry and just take it off the shelf because I know where I put stuff. I know where things are in this house. And my kids have the condition as well. It's hereditary. Apparently, children have manseitis too, or can't-see-itis. They can't find it. And my kids, they don't even bother looking. Oops, I spilled powder. Now, how in the world did I do that? They don't even bother looking. That's one of the things that I can't stand. We're wrapping this up, guys, because I'm pretty much done. I just have to put more lips on and do my mascara. But my girls will ask me before going to look for something. They will literally ask me, do you know where so-and-so is, Mom? And I'm like, did you look for it? Did you bother? Did you even try to look for the item that you're asking me if I know where it is? No. And I'm like, guys, what if I wasn't here? What if I was out for the day? How would you survive? Well, I would just look for it. Oh, you don't say. Go figure. I can't with them sometimes. I love them. But sometimes I'm like, you know what? I'm going to run away. I am going to run away because y'all have just become too accustomed to just ask mommy. Mommy has all the answers. They be asking me stuff that I don't even know about. I'm like, dude, is my name Google? Like, do you have a phone? Do you have a computer? Do you know how to talk to the AI bots that look up things for you? If I say it, you know, she gonna activate. So I'm not trying to do that. But like, yeah, I'm like, go and find the information first. At least attempt to find the information first before asking me, you know, because I have other things on my mind. I'm not trying to help you find stuff too. And I'm trying to figure out stuff my doggone self. Anyway, we are wrapping up this Get Ready With Me. I don't even know if I'm going to post this, to be honest with you, but I just felt like getting ready in front of the camera and with proper lighting this time so y'all can actually see what I was doing. But what do you guys think of my church face? Isn't it beautiful? I love a light skin finish. I still want to look like me by the time I'm done putting on my makeup. I don't like the cake face look for me, but at the same time, I'm noticing, because I think I have a lot of makeup on. I really don't, but that's because I just love a natural look. But sometimes when I take my pictures, I'm like, it doesn't look like I have anything on. Like, it doesn't look like I did anything. So I have an event coming up in April. I'm speaking at a women's conference, and I really am going to have to step that look up because I want those pictures to come out nicely. And I know that sometimes the camera does not translate. When you're light-handed with your makeup, it doesn't come out the way you want in pictures. It looks like you literally have nothing on your face. All right, now we're going to line our lips. And I love that I can do everything out of this one palette. And if I needed to throw it in my bag and take it with me, I could do that. But the thing about this particular makeup, you hardly need to touch up. The only thing that I carry with me, like if I'm out, if I'm running errands, I don't carry anything with me. But if I'm really going out and I'm going to be out for a while and I think I need to touch up, I just bring the NARS translucent setting powder to help in my T-zone, and maybe a lip gloss or something, because that, you know, you're eating, you're drinking, that's going to eventually come off. And you guys, y'all are getting my morning voice. Like, my voice has not, sorry for all the croaking, but it's pretty early. I got up at 6 and it is 8:22 now. And we leave at 9, so I am on time. How does that look? I'm gonna add another color on top. This color that I'm putting on top is called Purple Rain. The first color that I laid down is called Huckleberry. Ooh, she's cute. All right, that's it, you guys. What you think? You like it? I like it too. All right, thank you guys for getting ready with me. I hope you enjoyed this very chatty and random video. And you know what I'm going to tell you. Stay sweet, stay beautiful, and remember that you are loved. I love you, and God loves you more. Until the next one, bye.